This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, March 13th. Please stand for our invocation, led by Sister Patricia Evans, licensee, Bethel AME Church, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's bow our head for a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come boldly to your throne today, thanking you for allowing us to assemble here today. Lord, I ask that you will lead these your council members in the direction you would have them to go. Bless the mayor of this great city, the council members, our first responders. We speak protection over them. Lord, protect our children and our schools and give us peace in our city. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Vice President Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson. Councilmember Small. Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're so happy to see each and every one of you. We have a few rules that we'd ask that you would observe. First, that you would silence all of your electronic communications. If you've signed in appropriately to address agenda items on today's agenda, you'll have 5 minutes. At the conclusion of 4 minutes, there will be a ringing of a bell that signifies that you have 1 minute left to summarize your presentation. At that second bell, we ask that you quickly find your seat. If you're going to address, we ask that you don't address any specific council member, that all comments be addressed to the chair, and if any council member or member of the administration would subsequently like to respond, they'll have that ability. We also ask that there be no public outcry, unnecessary outcry, during the course of our council meetings. And if you would like to address this council on issues that aren't pertaining to issues on today's council meeting agenda, we ask that you contact the city clerk's office the Thursday prior to the Tuesday you'd like to address us by 2 p.m. Thank all of you for being here as we work the business of the city of Mobile. Thank you.
Approval of minutes of March 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved.
Communications from the mayor.
Well, good morning. Good to see everybody here this morning. A couple of comments I'd like to make before recognizing a firefighter and a couple of officers of the month. I hope everybody has noticed that the azaleas are in full bloom, and it certainly brings a hope for a beautiful spring. Like you, I'm hoping for a little warm weather, but our flowers are beautiful. Just a little history on the azaleas. They first came to Mobile from France in 1754. It was in 1929 that a businessman named Sam Lackland spearheaded the effort, and he encouraged Mobilians to plant azaleas in their yards, and that eventually led to Mobile having the Azalea Trail. Today, our Azalea Trail run pretty much follows what was the old Azalea Trail tourist attraction that we had in the past. Seeing what we see today with all the beautiful azaleas, my encouragement is to encourage Mobilians to again start planting azaleas. They are a hallmark of our city, and it's something that we don't need to slip into the past. So thanks for those that help maintain them, and I again encourage you to plant more of them. Yesterday I had an opportunity to be on TV to talk about the Mobile, the job readiness workshop that's going on today. It's actually going on from 1 to 5 o'clock at the Mobile Career Center, and it's about teaching people how to do resume development, interviewing skills, dressing for success, and also how to translate what are possibly military skills into what could be civilian skills in the workforce. It's all in preparation for the jobs fair, which will be next Thursday, March 22nd at the Mobile Civic Center. The job fair participants, anybody that's looking for a job. This is whether you're just getting out of high school, whether you're graduating from college, or whether you feel like you're underemployed and there's another opportunity out there for you. You go with your resume. There are 88 different companies that will be represented, companies, government organizations, and some nonprofits. So I really encourage anybody that feels like that there's another opportunity out there for them to go to the job fair, because seldom do you get 88 employers in the same space so that you can go present yourself. And talking with young people, typically in the area of high school age, and talking about making a presentation of yourself, you know, you have a very short time to make a good impression on someone. And so how you conduct yourself has everything to do possibly with the interview going longer than what it could be if you don't do a good job. There are many of our young people and even older people that think that interviewing is just something that they go do and they answer a bunch of questions. Well, I can promise you, if you go in unprepared, you will go out probably without a job. It's just like hitting a tennis ball or passing a basketball. It's something, if you practice it, you will get better at it, and if you get better at it, it improves your chance of landing a job. In my lifetime, I do not think there's ever been more job opportunity than exists today through multiple sectors, through every workforce sector, than exists today in the city of Mobile. So good luck to those that are seeking to get a better job. Last week, I hope that many of you saw the information that came out about the Restore Council. We voted to distribute money that initially derived from the BP oil settlement. In the city of Mobile, the cumulative amount of money that would be spent inside the city limits is $39 million, primarily to revive waterways, thoroughfares, historic neighborhoods. And each of these projects that has been proposed will go through a 45-day public comment period, and it goes to the Department of Treasury. Ultimately, once they're signed off upon, then probably you could see money start going into these projects as early as the first of the year. It's been a long time coming, but the impact of spending $39 million on these projects is a huge economic boost for our community. And the impact on the things that will ultimately come of it hopefully will improve our economic activity. It will certainly connect our citizens to our waterways and revive historically significant areas. I won't go through the whole list of the projects. You know, you can find that online or with any of our media outlets. But I will point out that in the 1950s and 60s, Langham Park was really a place of beauty. I mean, there was time when children would swim in the lake and kayak and fish, and obviously that is not what we have today. And part of it is because of the sediment and how shallow the water is. Well, one of the projects will be the dredging of the lake at Langham Park, and really the restoration of the entire 3 Mile Creek waterway, starting at Spring Hill College, coming all the way down toward Conception Street Road. So anyway, great projects, great impact on the city of Mobile, and just very appreciative of what the council did to support the projects that we submitted. Today I'm proud to appoint Jamie Eisen and James Fowler to the Mobile Airport Authority. It's an action that will be, hopefully will be ratified by the City Council. Many of y'all know Jamie as a former state representative for House District 101. She's currently with LL&B Real Estate. James is the Assistant Vice President at Cooper T. Smith. Now, this may be offensive to some of you, but he was the president of the SGA at the University of Alabama, so roll tide. And for you Auburn people, there's another opportunity in the future maybe for Auburn. Anyway, I'm confident that they will do a great job on our airport authority. Some of the options or opportunities that we have created by the aviation sector, unparalleled, but also the opportunity to improve the number of riders that we have catching flights out of the city of Mobile is just a golden opportunity that we have got to seize, because we are not getting our share of the market that we should be if you compare ourselves to other cities in close proximity. Having said all that, I'd like to switch now and recognize the officers of the month. And the first that I would like to announce would be fire driver Jeff Turner, and I'd ask he and Chief Seeley to please come to the podium, and while I read the certificate of recognition. Driver Jeff Turner continually goes above and beyond for Mobile Fire Rescue's hazardous materials team, lending his expertise to his crew and extending that to the remaining 2 shifts. Among the many projects Jeff has developed and implemented, the following stand out in importance to the team's efficiency in daily activities and in times of emergency response: developing the needed checkoff sheets for daily equipment checks for functions and readiness, simplified technical equipment for ease of use, often purchased on his own, answering calls for assistance when off duty from the team's members on incident scenes, having technical difficulty, giving advice and direction. Also personally purchasing items and support equipment and improved response capability, running errands and taking care of business on days off to support the needs of the hazmat team. Driver Jeff Turner's dedication has enhanced the hazmat team's capability and efficiency, and most of all, improved safety. His actions, self-motivated, have elevated the capabilities of the Mobile Hazmat Team and its reputation for response and mitigation, and has played a major role in our team being recognized as one of the best in the nation. So therefore, on behalf of all citizens, with our sincere thanks, we are pleased to award the certificate of recognition to him as Firefighter of the Month for January 2018. Congratulations, Jeff. Just share real briefly a story, and I may get it just a smidgen wrong, with the opportunity that I had to visit with Driver Turner and Chief Seeley before coming in here, and it was, the remark was made by Chief Seeley that Jeff is always looking for ways to do better, and he had pointed out that I think it was during Mardi Gras about trucks having to go back and gas up, and how far they had to go to get gas, or to be refueled, let's say. And that seems like an insignificant deal until you realize that they were having to travel about 13 miles, I think, to get the fuel. And the cost of running the truck out there as far as it is to get the fuel and to come back was probably costing $200 to drive the truck out there to just be refueled, which then prompts Chief Seeley and the leadership team to realize that we need to have some other fueling stations in closer proximity. Now, those are the type of things that the leadership and the supervisors and fire rescue, our police department, public works are doing every day in order so that we can have monies to spend on other things that are dire needs in the city. So thank you very much, Jeff, for sharing that story with me. And I encourage other policemen and firefighters and policemen to share those ideas with their supervisors. So this time I'd ask Chief Batiste and Officer Micah Jones to please approach the podium. Officer Jones is the Officer of the Month for January, and because of the way City Council meetings run, then we had to postpone it. Officer Jones is a 4-year veteran of MPD, and this is the proclamation, the certificate of recognition. On January 2nd, 2018, Officer Jones observed a vehicle driving recklessly on Ann Street. A traffic stop was conducted and the driver was identified as a juvenile suspect in a recent shooting. The female suspect was charged with attempted assault second and shooting into an unoccupied vehicle. The passenger of the vehicle was found in possession of a pistol and was arrested for no pistol permit. On January 3rd, 2018, Officer Jones conducted a traffic stop for a vehicle displaying illegal tint. The driver, a convicted felon, was in possession of an illegal handgun, a pound and a half of marijuana, drugs, and $11,000 in cash. He was arrested for possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance, and persons forbidden to possess a firearm. On January 10th, Officer Jones conducted a traffic stop. The driver and passenger were armed and in possession of controlled substances. One of the handguns had removed the serial number. Officer Jones recalled a recent burglary where a shotgun of light gauge and description was taken. On January 30th, 2018, Officer Jones was traveling on Dolphin Island Parkway when he observed a vehicle being driven by a suspect wanted for multiple commercial thefts of equipment from cell phone towers. The driver was arrested for stealing over $6,000 in copper wire and equipment. For Officer Jones's actions, he is hereby awarded the Officer of the Month for January 2018. Congratulations. So I'd ask Chief Batiste and Officer Aaron Goldman to please come to the podium. On February 1st, 2018, the Mobile Police Department was in pursuit of a stolen vehicle. The two adult suspects fled on foot but were later captured and taken in for questioning. 11 stolen handguns were recovered from the vehicle. A third juvenile suspect was identified and arrested on 8 charges, including breaking and entering a motor vehicle. The adults were booked for an assortment of felony charges stemming from the stolen car and weapons. Officer Goldman rode the streets following up leads of the third suspect. Officer Goldman was able to locate and apprehend the suspect. The capture of this suspect led to additional information and additional suspects being revealed. The suspect was known for being able to sell stolen guns on the street. I would add this was a juvenile. The fifth suspect was identified, and Officer Goldman aggressively worked the case to determine the whereabouts of suspect number 5 and bring him to justice. Officer Goldman's dedication and tenacity led to the direct location and apprehension of these suspects and recovery of stolen weapons. His initiative, quick thinking, and professionalism and his overall performance show a proactive police style that is a tremendous asset to the city of Mobile. We're pleased to award the Certificate of Recognition to Officer Aaron Goldman as Officer of the Month of February 2018. Congratulations. I would also like to add that during the conversation that I had with the officers in my office, that Officer Goldman was telling me that he was telling me how he apprehended these suspects. And he had gotten a couple of leads about where they may be, and so he went door to door in a neighborhood, knocking on doors, leaving his card, making sure that everybody understood, what he was looking for and why he was there. And it was through a tip, through information, that he was able to make some of these arrests. I'm sure that there are other police officers that have gone door to door knocking, seeking advice, or help from our citizens. But it's the first time that one of them has explicitly told me that's how they did a particular case. So, Officer Goldman, thank you for that initiative. I hope other officers will follow your lead in that, because y'all already know this, but we're really, as a police officer, only good as the information sometimes that the public gives you. And so they've got to have confidence in you in order to share that information. So obviously they have confidence in you. So congratulations. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Council Vice President.
Yes, ma'am. We would like to, at this time, make a special presentation to two of our colleagues, and this is coming from myself, Councilman Daves, Councilman John Williams, Councilman Richardson, and Small, even in their absence. And we're going to read this proclamation and then make the presentation. Okay.
Whereas March is Women's History Month and celebrates the significant contributions women of all races, ethnicities, and backgrounds have made to the world, and whereas women play a critical role in the vitality and diversity of our communities and are essential to ensuring all our citizens across Mobile and the region are well represented. And whereas while the 20th century was a pivotal time for growth for women entering politics, women remain underrepresented in many male-dominated fields, and thus opportunities to support women in public office is imperative. And whereas recognizing women in public office brings awareness to the fundamental necessity of their work and will inspire other young people to serve their communities, and
whereas here in Mobile, we are particularly blessed to have many women in public office. From our colleagues on this very council, Councilwoman Gina Gregory and Councilwoman Bess Rich, to County Commissioners County Hudson and Marcelia Lutgood, to our legislative delegation members, Senator Vivian Figures and Representatives Adline Clark, Barbara Drummond, and Margie Wilcox, Revenue Commissioner Kim Hasty, Judges Rosemary Chambers, Jill Phillips, Judge Shelbunny Hall, and Judge Carveen Adams. They have all made significant contributions to our local and state government and will continue to do so.
Now, therefore, we, the members of the Mobile City Council, do hereby proclaim this day, Tuesday, March 19th, 2018, as celebrating Women in Public Office Day and call upon all Mobilians to unite as we support the success of women in public office and observe every March 19th with appropriate activities, events, and programs.
Present this to Mrs. Rich.
Thank you. Thank you so
Try to
much.
get a picture. Yeah.
Let's get a picture. Around the lawns.
Yeah.
You show it.
Okay.
You coming?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're doing good.
All right. Okay, I'll wait back. Thank you. All right.
Congratulations.
Let's give them another big round of applause.
So, Mr. Vice President,
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Rich and I just want to know where y'all are taking us for lunch today.
Our latest choice.
Good one.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda's adopted.
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on April 1st in Tricentennial Park, March 31st on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, March 24th on Demouy Avenue, May 5th on North Joachim Street, March 31st on Baltimore Street, March 17th on Church Street.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Lorenzo Green.
you doing? Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I'm here on behalf of the Maysville community.
Mr. Green, we're happy to have you. If you
Okay.
could give us your name and your address, please.
Okay, my name is Lorenzo Green,
Yes, sir.
1653 Polk Street,
Yes, sir.
Mobile, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm here in reference to the Maysville community and a project PR 12617 going on at Harmon Community Center. And what we have is the scope of work saying one thing, and the work is turning out to be something different without any change orders. Our children are some of the best that we have in the city, and they deserve to have some type of ball facility during this baseball season. Currently, they have nothing, and we want to find out what it is that we can do in order to make sure that these children have positive activities to participate in. So what we want to do, there's a field right behind Williamson that could be used temporarily, and we want to find out if the council could assist in helping these children have an area to practice baseball. There's some other projects that are going on at the community center, and those numbers aren't matching up with the scope of work. So we really want the council to look into those as well. So thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. I've been in extensive talks with Mr. Green via Facebook. He regularly contacts me. I am proud to represent the area that he's referenced. And I've asked, with the administration's approval, that Ms. Hardin would come kind of give us an overview of exactly what we're doing there at Harmon. I've been in talks with, as late as yesterday, with the school board commissioner, because the fields that you reference really are maintained by the school board. And Mr. Robert Battles, who represents the school board, has assured me that he's been in talks with facilities, which is Mr. Thomas Sheffield and Mr. Kenny Holder, that hopefully by this week, any light issues that you're having and field condition issues should be addressed. But I want to stress to you that those fields that Williamson's teams are utilizing, they aren't city property. Those properties are owned by the school system and maintained by the school system. And he's assured me, I brought your concerns to his attention, and he's assured me that they're going to address mediating those concerns before the end of this week. Before you all leave, and I know we're in the middle of a discussion, I did want to recognize the student council and the advisors, the teacher counselors from the Indian Springs Elementary School. We're so happy to have you all here today. I see so many future leaders amongst your crowd. This is the student council. I got my start as a student council member. I was robbed of the student council presidency, but I did get my start as student council members. Let's give them a big round of applause. Sure. And Ms. Hardin, if you don't mind, I'm gonna ask that you all would come. Let's get a quick picture so that that we can have it for our archives and for you all as well. We're honored to have you all here today.
Mr. Vice President, I was also on the student council, so you see?
That's right.
Mr. Vice President, I was the president of the student council.
Oh my goodness. So you never know where you'll end up. Just don't run against me in District 2.
Oh, you need to tuck in right here. Not your clothes yourself. Come on. Come up here.
Little Smalls, come up here.
Yeah, and anyone else need to come up? Yeah.
On the hold.
Now where's
All the way up in there.
where's
I
our
like your pins.
now where's our president and vice president?
Oh, and you
President and the vice president. Raise, that's Madam President. And the vice president? All right, just want to recognize.
Tell each of the students, if they can't see these cameras, the cameras can't see them.
If you can't
Yeah,
see
so
the
you need
cameras,
to kind
you
of
can't
come
see
forward.
What camera?
Okay.
Camera we looking at?
All right.
All right.
You might want to bend this mic, somebody. Bend the mic. I don't want the mic in the face.
Really appreciate you visiting. Very much.
Hey, you all are welcome at any time.
Who are we looking at?
Rules of the council, you must smile at the camera.
Okay, can a little girl with the blue bow right here by Mr., can she stand right here behind the orange bow? Or right on this side, switch
Yeah,
sides?
tuck
Yeah,
it.
right there, right there. Okay, there.
Good.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
Gee, great.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much
you
for
all.
visiting.
See y'all.
All right.
Sharp. Very nice. Thank you. Y'all have a good day, okay? I like those.
All right. Study hard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I told her to.
Did you want to finish with?
Oh, yes. I'm going to just wait till they come through.
Well, they've got a few purses up there.
Nurse right there coming down the steps.
Okay, now back to business.
Miss Harden, if you could briefly give us an overview of what we're doing, where we are, and what's left to do if you have that information.
Yes, sir.
And if you could exchange information with Mr. Green, because Mr. Green, she's really going to be most knowledgeable of working out some of the issues that you've brought to my attention about discrepancies. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Well, as you know, we do have a number of separate projects going on at Harmon right now. Everything is either completed or almost completed. In regard to the field conditions themselves, we did sod about March 2nd on the field for the improvements of the field there at Harmon. And so by early April, that sod will be taken root and we will be able to use that field. The fencing is all done, the lighting is all done, so all the improvements to the field, including new bleachers and team benches, have been completed. And so early April, that field will be available for use. I don't know the scheduling of that field, who uses it, and what their time frame is, but that's when the field will be able to be used again. And then we have the playground that is also complete with fencing around the playground as well as the wading pool to help protect access and our children from that area from straying into the street. And we have also done some lighting and security cameras outside and inside the facility. So those are the main projects that we've had going on, and they're all either complete or almost complete right now.
And what was the cumulative total of investment?
Okay, you would ask me that. I can tell you it was, if I can add quickly.
In excess, ballpark.
One.
Round it off.
Close to $500,000.
That's nearly $500,000.
Probably 450, something like that.
450, and then the other things will probably, that's just phase one.
Can I say something real quick? The question is that the scope of work reads that the fencing was to be replaced with the same dimensions. That's not happening, and there is no change order. There's some other things that are going on the project that is not adding up with the scope of work that the city requested. These bids are going out, and these people are pricing them according to the scope of work. When the scope of work is different than what is provided, there's some monies that need to be accounted for, and we don't see that.
Well, and that's why I was suggesting that you and Ms. Harden share information so that she'll have the time to walk with you item by item if necessary, so that everybody ends up on the same page. Yes, sir.
And I do have answers for those aspects. So
Nope,
that's
and
fine.
that's why you know, he'd asked me, I didn't have all of that.
Okay.
But she would, and if you would, get with Ms. Harden, and Ms. Harden get with Mr. Green.
Absolutely.
And you let me know of that any additional information that you might need. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
No problem.
Zion Jackson.
I don't see Mr. Jackson.
Excuse me, do you have to sign if you have an issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where is the sign issue?
Okay, is it related to something that's on the council agenda?
I want to talk about the high gas bills we've been getting, and I'm disagreeing with it.
That's an Alabama Public Services Commission issue. I can shortly send you, you and I are Facebook friends as well. I'll send you an online complaint form along with all the numbers of those public service commissioners so that you can let them know directly what your concerns are with the high gas bills. My gas bill was high this month, and I had to do the same thing. The Alabama City Council does not regulate anything with utilities.
Okay,
But I'll send that to you.
okay, I just was expressing that because I figured that we are, me and all of us have been taken advantage of.
Yes, ma'am.
Spy company.
Yes, ma'am. But
And
we don't
I
have
know
any,
nothing you can do about it.
there's nothing we can do about it but pay the bill and complain, because that's what I'm gonna have to do. But I'm gonna send you all that information via Facebook. You'll have it before the end of the day.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
Yes, ma'am, City Clerk.
Ordinance is held over. 88005, deemed property located at 1361 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, Lot 1, Lot 2, and Lot 3, not now needed for public or municipal purposes, and authorizing the sale thereof to Franklin Primary Health.
So moved.
Been probably motion and second. Any discussion? I'd like to just say that I think this is a great agenda item. Franklin Primary Health Center, under the direction of Mr. Charles White, has been transformative in re-energizing that sector of the MLK area, and most importantly, providing high-quality health care. They've maintained these properties in a very responsible manner in the years that they've had leases, and they have made a solid commitment that the pool area will continue to be accessible to citizens even after this agenda item passes, but accessible in an even greater way, because they'll have trained lifeguard staff, they have swimming courses, both for adults and seniors. Those are things that we're not in a position as a city to have provided at this point. So this will be a win both for Franklin and a win for the citizens of the city of Mobile. And I encourage my colleagues to join me in voting to support this item. No further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item passes.
88006, deemed property located at the east 250 feet of Lucille Street, not now needed for public or municipal purposes, and authorizing the grant of a license to use for parking by JTW Development.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Resolutions held over. 01175, authorized Public Works Cooperative Agreement with Mobile Area Water and Sewer System to allow both entities to add or include work under a competitively bid public works contract.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Item passes.
Consent resolutions being introduced, 03178 through 6184.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolutions 03178 through 60184.
Second.
The properly set motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
03178, 179, 180, and 181. Reappoint Claude Warren to the Police Citizens Community Relations Advisory Council. Appoint James Fowler to the Mobile Airport Authority. Appoint Elliot Maisel to the Mobile Airport Authority. And appoint Jamie Eisen to the Mobile Airport Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President. I just want to go up to 03178. That's the reappointment of Dr. Warren to the Police Citizens Community Relations Advisory Council. And I want to thank Dr. Warren for his service under his prior term and for his willingness to re-up, as it were, because they have really tried to get into the community, to bring citizens into these meetings and work toward the betterment of our city along with the Mobile Police Department. It's been frustrating at times, and again, I just want to thank Dr. Warren for his service and for his willingness to serve again. And while I have the floor, I do want to thank Jamie Eisen and Hank Fowler for agreeing to do this for the Mobile, or James Fowler really, rather, for agreeing to be appointed to the Mobile Airport Authority, as well as Elliot Maisel, who has already been serving. You all bring a lot of professional experience and integrity to this board, and just thank you for your willingness to serve on the MAA. We look forward to working with you.
Any further discussion? Well, I want to say that I think the two names provided by us, by Mayor Stimpson, Mr. Fowler, and former Representative Isom, are stellar names. Mr. Fowler happens to live in the best district in the city of Mobile, and I support, you know, he's got a record of working in the community of interest in aviation. Had an opportunity to speak with him and former State Representative James Eisen, who did an outstanding job in our state legislature. And so I'm in support of both names, of all three names, because we're also appointing Mr. Elliot Maisel, who currently serves as the chairman of the Airport Authority. And I am just very appreciative of the direction that I see under his leadership the Airport Authority taking, and trying to see whether or not a downtown airport is feasible, and making certain that we make certain that our airport is as competitive as our competing airports. And I know that the two names that have been nominated will also hopefully be as interested in studying what's best for aviation in our airports here in the Mobile area. So is there no further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Items pass. Thank you all for your willingness to serve.
37182, 183. 37182, 183, and 189, recommending approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a nonprofit tax-exempt license for Little Black Dress on Broad Street, South Broad Street, for issuance of a nonprofit tax-exempt license for 2018 Downtown Cajun Cook-Off on Conti Street, Cathedral Park, and for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for Nexus Cinema Dining on Bronze Drive.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion and second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I would like to recognize Mr. Terry Ankerson. If Mr. Ankerson would stand up so everybody here can see. Resident of District 4, but perhaps more importantly, a long time chairman of the Child Advocacy Center, in which he's devoted much of his time, and the tremendous impact that that advocacy center has had on the least among us is well known and much appreciated. Mr. Ankerson is also a longtime board member of the Battleship Commission, and also serves as the District 5 representative on the Visit Mobile Board, a dedicated, long-time public servant and a wonderful individual and human being. Terry Ankerson, thanks for being with us today.
Terry. All right. Thank you.
If I could comment.
Mrs.
on
Rich.
an item. This is an item that deals with Nexus Cinema Dining. And this is a newcomer to our town, and it's not in competition with the downtown theater that also allows service of alcohol, but this is a theater designed strictly for adults. You have to be 21 and older or accompanied by someone who is 21 and older, and they actually have a full restaurant and beverage service, hence their liquor license before us today. And I have not been personally, but I've heard only good things. They play the first-rate movies, and they have the reclining seats and I've only heard good things, so I wish them much continued success. And I hope it's supported in the community. But you have to go out into District 6 to have part of that fun. So come join us.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
6184, approve award of special bonus to firefighter of the month as part of the mayor's incentive program.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes.
Resolution's been introduced for the first time, 21-185 through 21-188.
Those resolutions will lay over for 1 week pursuant to council rules.
Announcements.
We'll start with Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'd like to remind everybody that we do have a District 5 community meeting coming up Tuesday, March 27th. This will be at 6:00 p.m. at the Westminster Presbyterian Church at the corner of Sage Avenue and Airport Boulevard. Look forward to having Mayor Stimpson, Public Safety Director Barber, and Public Services Director Harkins there. Again, that's March 27th, 6:00 p.m., Westminster Presbyterian Church. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Williams?
No, thank you.
Mrs. Gregory?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. A few things going on. I'm probably going to steal Mrs. Rich's thunder again here, but she can add in. She and I were models last week for our Sisters Closet. The New Mobilians Club was hosting this fashion show where we all brought outfits to donate to our Sisters Closet, and we got to walk the runway, so we got to feel like real models for a while. But it was a really terrific cause, and a great group of women were there, and just applaud this group for taking on this kind of a fundraiser for a group like our Sisters Closet. Also, this coming week, on Thursday, I'll be joining members of the University of South Alabama to cut the ribbon on their new and improved fitness trail. If you've been around for any length of time and been a runner or a biker, you've probably done the Swamp Loop. Well, this is a new and improved Swamp Loop over at the University of South Alabama, and we'll be kicking off using of this new trail on Thursday at 11 o'clock, and everybody's invited. It's a great amenity for the entire area, so come on out and get fit with University of South Alabama. Also on Thursday, Plantasia begins, and so I look forward to seeing people out at Mobile Botanical Gardens and those azaleas that the mayor was talking about. If you want to see some azaleas, come to Mobile Botanical Gardens this weekend and check them out. Beautiful. Every variety imaginable of azalea at Mobile Botanical Gardens. And if you want to get first come, first serve on the best plants to buy for your yard or garden, come Thursday for the preview party. They will be doing the sale through Sunday, so you've got plenty of opportunity, but this is the place to see those azaleas at Mobile Botanical Gardens. And also I want to just piggyback a little bit with what the mayor was talking about with the BP money that the city has received. He mentioned Langen Park, and of course that is very near and dear to my heart, and we are just very, very thankful that the council voted to approve that funding for the city of Mobile and for the work that will be coming not only to District 7, but for the entire city. But Langen Park will see its fair share, and I know when people hear dredging of Langen Park, they start getting excited for good reason. So we look forward to that work coming and for making Langen Park the kind of park that it needs to be. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Mrs. Rich.
Thank you very much. Last night, I had the pleasure of hosting some out-of-state students from Ohio State who are in town to do Habitat for Humanity. And we also rounded up as many OSU alumni that have settled in Mobile. It was quite an enjoyable evening. And again, this is, of course, my alma mater. You've heard me mention this before. But I welcome those students to our community and thank them for their interest. This is their spring break, and that's how they chose to spend it. So that's very special. And we were quite impressed with their personalities, and we got to know them as well. Tomorrow at the Mobile Christian School, there'll be a ribbon cutting for their new elementary school building, and that's at 9 a.m. and I've been invited, and I thank them for that and wish them the best. Also, I would like to announce again the meeting that will take place on next Thursday, March 22nd, from 5 until 7:30. It's a drop-in type meeting where the city will show the There are plans for the Hillcrest Access Management Program, and that's for residents that are in the corridor and businesses between Greenlawn and Cottage Hill. And again, it's at the Connie Hudson Senior Center. You'll be able to ask questions. There will be representatives from traffic engineering, civil engineering, and for the outside consultant from Volkert to answer your questions, and they'll have the plans there, and you can walk right up, ask your questions, and also leave comments. And so I hope that we have a really good turnout. You should get a postcard if you are in that corridor from those neighborhoods and fronting businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank all of you for your announcements. I'm going to try to keep mine brief. Council Member Fred Richardson and Council Member C.J. Small are representing the city and this council at the National League of Cities meeting. Councilman Richardson is a member of one of the subcommittees of the board of directors with that organization. Typically, I would be with them representing the city, but I knew with some of my mobility issues, it did not make sense for me to go this year. But I've been talking with them daily, and they have been working hard to protect very integral items to the city, like municipal bonds, CDBG funding, and other things that are under very persistent attack at this point from the federal level. So that's why they are not in attendance today. I want to recognize my friend, from the school system, Ms. Moore, Ms. Karen Moore, the Chief Academic Officer. Always glad to see anyone from our school system. They've been showing up quite regularly these days, and we're happy to see them, the bright and very familiar faces. Appreciative of all of the commentary I received from citizens across the length and breadth of District 2. I know it has been a while since we've had a community meeting, and I ask that you continue to indulge me as I walk this perilous road back to recovery each day, making steps toward greater levels of normalcy. But I want you to know, even in my hospital bed, I was working for you in District 2. My number is 509-4239. We don't have to have a community meeting in order for me to relay your information to the administration so that your issues are addressed as promptly and efficiently as possible. I want to salute the work that's been done by the Gulf Coast Recovery Council. Many of those items impact areas of my district, especially the announcement that there will be nearly $3.5 million available for a welcome center in Africatown. I'm happy to hear that, happy to be a part of helping to secure that, happy that our mayor was chairman of that commission, realizing that this is just round one, and we hope to have subsequent rounds. So we hope to see other projects near and dear to citizens in District 2 make the cut with that council. We want to thank every member who was a part of that council, Commissioner Ludgood and others, for all of your hard work. We were really impacted by that BP oil spill, so it's no more than fair that our communities are able to see some positive benefit as a result of what happened. And so thank you again, Mayor Stimson. He was chair of that council, if I'm not mistaken. No?
Jimmy Lyons is actually the chairman, but I was one of the members.
Well, he was one of the members. I'm sure he had a loud voice, and that voice really helped pay dividends off for my community and a lot of other communities, and we want you to continue to speak with a loud voice representing our communities. I have no further announcements. Any announcements from the administration? Then if not, do I hear a motion? Second, is there? No, John Williams. I'm sorry. No, sir. Mr. Williams.
Just fair warning, actually, just ample time to plan is a better way to say it. I'd ask all of my colleagues as well as members of the administration to join me on Easter morning down by the riverside in the Lloyd Station community. A personal invitation extended to each of you from Beatrice Howes. She will, as she has for the last 20 years, host this in front of her house. It is located at 3609 Rochelle, and that's Rochelle. There is not a more beautiful setting for a sunrise service than this will be and has been for so many years. It will start at 7 a.m. sharp. I guarantee you will have a wonderful time. You will be able to eat and leave the site by 8 o'clock in the morning. It starts at 7 sharp. I'm glad to have each of you down there. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.